founder of Spado Media, and you're welcome to the press conference for today, which is the Royal African Young Leadership Forum 2024 press conference. So we are here with His Majesty, the Oni of Ife, and he'll be taking us on this year's theme, which is Africa of the Future, Better Together, and the program of the entire week. So afterwards, His Majesty will field only 3 questions as he's pressed it for time. So we'll then have follow-up interviews and questions with the foundation heads who are also here with us after His Majesty leaves.
See, I must pay obeisance to the greatest king of Africa, my father, who I've always loved. He kings me sometimes. So we all know who the Oni Orisha is. That's the greatest king. So I'm going to introduce, like you already know them, sir, the members of the press. This is Funsho Aromodade, sir. He is a man of many this thing. He represents PM Express, he represents the sun. So this is Ifoma Onoye Telegraph, Niyi Kabiti. I call him Takiti. Yeah, Gist Master, Jane, Premium Times, Ifoma Okeke Business Day, Maria Diamond, that's her real name, sir. Guardian, Mutiat Ali. Correct. My younger sister, Leadership. Telegraph, sorry. Yes, so, and my humble self, you know me, sir.
We also have some of the press members who are also seated with us,
oh,
and some of the awardees who are also amongst us today for the press conference. So, the floor is open now for today's event. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I greet you all from the throne of Oduduwa. Royal greetings to you all. Today marks another red letter day for me on the throne of my forebears, and one of my greatest legacies of bringing the young, bright minds together of African descent, for us to realize that indeed nobody will build our continent for ourselves. We have to build it for ourselves. 5 years ago, we came up with a concept of Royal African Young Leadership Forum, a forum for young minds, both in the private sector and in the public sector. Reality has to do with very good leadership and good followership, and to get to the minds of people, especially young minds, that will put Africa in a different focal point. I have taken several sojourns to major African countries, meeting the leadership of those various countries from the private sector and the public sector. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to network and see ourselves as one, and how we can do better to improve each and every one of us and take Africa to another frontier. It's very obvious now. Nigeria as a case study, over the last 20 years, we have produced multiple nations. In the last 20 to 25 years, Nigeria has doubled and also increased in our population. We have actually increased to over 70 million people, and they are growing every day. RAYLF, we're very focus driven in terms of measuring success, in terms of our spread, in terms of our network, in terms of how we can actually use the platform to come together to make our nation a better place. RAYLF 2024 is for us to look at how the continent can be better for each and every one of us. Another thing that will emerge from RAYLF 2024 is Royal African Chamber of Commerce. Royal African Chamber of Commerce will bring about a lot of African leopards. We know the strength of leopards, and it is a very common phenomenon to each of every native African. These African leopards are the ones to turn around things both in the private sector and in the public sector. This platform doesn't discriminate. This platform is very focus driven to make sure that value is being created from one level to the other. My own joy as a traditional ruler is to use the platform of this royalty to bring on board a lot of very bright minds, a lot of very formidable minds to actually see how they can get the best out of peer review mechanism. In RAYLF, we see ourselves and we follow through to one another that this platform is not just a social platform, this platform is not just a regular platform, this platform is for us to actually see our strengths, to actually also see our weaknesses, and also primarily opportunities that can come for each and every one of us. On this note, RAYLF will actually give birth to a new baby that will drive a lot of commerce, a lot of entrepreneurial advancement, and a whole lot of public engagement and governance. And that is called Royal African Chamber of Commerce. God bless you and God bless all.
So make nobody come de buga. When I do titi kati, they dancing, they juicy you. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no.
That's the reason why we're giving back to Royal African Chamber of Commerce this year. For us to start to publish everything we've achieved among the members is so much. We have built cities, we've actually emerged so many manufacturing companies, car manufacturing companies. From this RAYLF platform, they have become husband and wife, and they are making a very formidable mark in Harvard, very Ivy League institutions. And I'm happy one of them is here. Shalamel's wife, a medical doctor, who is in Harvard right now. Please give him a resounding applause.
Today I'm glad we have 3 of the awardees. Like you know, for the first time we're going Pan-African, so it's not just a Nigerian thing like Agnes said. So one of them is here from Cape Verde, Salo. Thank you so much for joining us. So,
for me it's a pleasure being here because I've been working on the educational tech area, talking with people. It's very important, not only studying in Cape Verde, but be able to enter a country, a huge country as Nigeria.
My question is so straightforward. We want to know how much you get in terms of grants for this kind of forum.
I get 0 grants from any public or private organization. The only grant that I get is calling friends, calling families and associates to come and support me for this. I can pick up phone to call in 20 awardees, 20! And we can actually fund a multi-million-dollar any project that will come out of it. So for you too, you can support us. Don't think it's only money. You are a media person. I want to join. It's actually open. The first priority are the awardees. They are the natural members. Shola is here. Dr. Ayoban is here. They run the office. And the reason and the rationale behind this whole thing is our vision is in sync. Honestly speaking, I don't get involved in selecting awardees. I don't. We have a very strong independent platform that actually source for them. So for us, we are happy to see you to be part of us.
I want to know the relationship between the Royal African Forum and Tingo.
I'm an entrepreneur before I became the owner of Ife. I am still an entrepreneur. If I don't work and I just sit down as a monarch, I'm not going to be able to fuel and support all these my programs. I need to get a lot of things done like Tingo and so many other investments. You are going to see like about 3 or 4 projects coming out of this Royal African Young Leadership Forum. So Tingo is just one of the projects.
I'd like to know the selection criteria for the awardees.
The 3 focus we have at the foundation. The first one is mobilizing resources, and it's not money, it's people, technology. Every one of us coming together to collaborate, to share ideas, to sharpen ourselves, to leverage on the wisdom of His Majesty with the strength that we have as young people to do great and new things. And secondly, we also focus on policies, creating new policies, because we know the highest level of change at any community is a policy. And finally is unity. And I particularly like the Pan-African drive, because the entire continent can do a lot with unity, patriotism, so that we can truly come together to create things. So in terms of criteria, it is really bringing people who are leading change, who are passionate, who have great ideas, such that we can respectfully challenge authority. Thank you.
We have officially come to the end of the press conference, and I would like to say thank you to KBC for honoring us and giving us this time to address us for the Royal African Young Leadership Forum for 2024.
Thank you for the music, for giving it to me.
Pressmen and women who are here, thank you all for coming. Say thank you to our new awardees for coming to Nigeria. I'd like to say a big thank you to the organizers and my team members. I would like to say a big thank you to Dr. Abayomi who's here with us, Tony Sin and every other person. Mr. Ayo from Tingo, thank you so much for visiting us today. Simple trade facilities in and in Nigeria, eventually, let's get to express. So catch us at the refinery in the
They can want to make a wallet. I'ma show you go there, no complaint. I'ma go there, also go shop it. I'm on a digital stone they play. I'm in the mood. I'ma get fell in the ground. They do marry no one like you. Tabajadi Baba Shadele.
I'm in the mood to talk to you, waiting the worry you. Now me and you. Today not today, where you gonna know me? Yeah.
This whole area is like the commercial hub of Nigeria, Lagos State. So it's like Apapa, Ikeja in one place. Big investors are making money here.
I'll explain the process so we get a good grasp of what's happening in the refinery. First of all, we get crude, Nigerian crude, right, from the Nigerian space. So for me to get crude into the refinery, first we have to get it via ships. And these ships we call, they are very large crude carriers. They have a very high draft. Now draft is the length of the ship that is actually submerged. And of course, these bigger ships will carry bigger volumes of crude oil. So in other words, for me to make my process efficient, I need to get these big ships. And then for me to get these big ships to give me crude oil, I need to impute a facility that would make that seamless. So for this, we have what we call an SPM. So right there on the high sea, I have this floating device where these big ships come in, right? They connect with hoses to this floating device I have. Now under this floating device, I have another floating hose or submerged hose, which now goes to a pipeline infrastructure beneath the sea, under the seabed. So I have like a underground sea piping right at the center of the sea. So what happens is when these very large crude carriers come, they kind of like anchor a bit, right? And then they connect to my SPM and they begin to pump this product through my SPM into the pipeline under the ground, and it comes all the way through these lines. There are these gray lines you can see in the refinery, right? They come through all these gray lines to my storage area.
A giant, I am an eagle, oh, I am a lion down in the jungle. I am a marching band, I am the people, oh, I am a helping hand, I am a hero. If anybody asks you who I am, just stand up tall, look them in the face and say, I'm that star up in the sky, I'm that mountain peak up high. Hey, I made it, I'm the world's greatest, and I'm that little bit of hope. When my back's against the ropes, I can feel it, I'm the world's greatest.
Hey! Oh, guys!
To have you all here. The message from Alaji himself, Mr. Dangote, that you are all here and you should go to sites and then have a wonderful tour, and I hope you had it. So how did you find the tour? So what did you find in refinery? Can I have a brief background of all of you, just for me to understand? Yeah, please.
First thing I found over there is a lot of money has been invested. There is
He talked about the fundamental resource to build any project. The fundamental resource is money. Yes, I agree with you.
It's also very interesting to know that you're self-reliant as far as power is concerned.
Yeah.
And that the capacity of the power generating plants can power cities, more or less. So you shouldn't be worried about band A or band B or band C or light. But that's interesting. He took us through the divergence between gasoline production and diesel production and the level of work that has to go into producing gasoline and the heating process to ensure that it doesn't get condensed and keeps it ready.
I would try to explain to you how this project was conceptualized and how it was really constructed. The sweat of youngsters, people like you contributed in completing this gigantic project, and we started this sometime in 2016 when we started the dredging of the sand from the Atlantic Ocean to here. So this whole entire complex, this area is about 2,700 hectares, which is 8 times the Victoria Island of Lagos, and this was raised by about 1.5 meter. So earlier it was all with all bushes and swampy soil. It was just like you might have seen while you were coming on the adjacent sides, lot of bushes were there. So now in fact you look, when you drive, it is very less evident. But in those days, they used to be fully full of greenery with lots of swampy soil, and there was no way anybody could step into that to walk down into the streets here. So that was the case. So which we had to debush by dozers, and we had to remove the slush, and then we made a lot of channels so that the water comes into those channels and then gets collected in a pond, temporary pond here, and then while the sand will settle. So that's how the sand has been built up to 1.5 meters. And this project, because this is the shore, the soil strength, because you have to build such a huge project, what you saw just now, huge tall structures, to build on a very loose soil, it is not going to stay, it's going to collapse. You cannot first construct at all. So you need to improve the ground to take these kind of loads. So since the project is a very tight schedule, we had to see how to do parallel activities. So while the design concept was on here, stone, sand dredging was going on, concrete piles were going on, that was the time available for us to complete the detail engineering and also make use of that time in fabricating these structures elsewhere, so that while concrete is going on here, the structures are already under fabrication. So when we came up to the mid of 2018, after giving 1 year time for the filing, we started receiving the fabricated steel structure, okay, from outside. We gave it to a Chinese company called HXSS, and they completed the fabrication. It is 150,000 tons of the steel structure which are brought in.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We are happy to be here. We have seen great things done in Africa on our own soil in Nigeria. We are very, very happy. However, thank you so much. I'll be doing two things here right now. The first is to present a set of work to the president of the Dangote groups, and also we are bringing youth from various countries in Africa, and we think that your company can help us push this cause further. And His Imperial Majesty the Oni of Ife has been doing a whole lot, and that's why we are here today, to meet with people like you. We are appealing, or we are calling for a long-term partnership with Royal African Young Leadership Forum. So now I'll present a set of books. We take it on it. Hello, sir.
Unveiling Justice. Yes, please. So thank you very much for the book, which will be passed on to my president as you desired.
Thank you, sir. And
you also talked about a long-term relationship. We will pass this message to the managing director of Dangote Foundation.
My name is Bolani and I'll be your tour guide. So right here, I'll be showing you artifacts and tell you some stories behind each and every artifact. We have some ground rules. You cannot use your phone for pictures or audio recordings inside. What we have here is the Pojo 5 official vehicle as the military head of state. First presidential library in USA, the Franklin Roosevelt Presidential Library. Now, this was donated to the library by the great-granddaughter Tracy. Now, come over from a group called the Eminent Person Group to investigate the apartheid happened in South Africa. So after Nelson Mandela was released, he gave that fiberglass ball to Olusegun Obasanjo just to thank him for his participation.
Ọkùnrin mẹ́ta
develop the innate capacity and that is when you have the ability and means to make contribution to betterment of your life, your family, your extended family, your community, your nation. And the first thing I did on education, I brought in youth. Everybody should be
here.
Oh, okay. Oh, both of you?
Yes.
Who say no?
Sorry?
Who is a no among you? Ekuyu. What are you?
From the north.
From the north, Western North.
You are very small.
Yeah, we are.
Very small. But you are not clear. You are not busy.
No.
You are not low.
No.
You are not Kikuyu. But you are not speaking Kalei.
No, not at all.
From the situation in Kenya, it will be very difficult for any man of your tribe to become the president of Kenya. Is that correct?
From after the protest?
From your tribe to become the president of Nigeria.
But going forward, because of after this government,
Yeah.
things are going to change.
Things are going to be different. If you are not too long, and you have the law, that if you are not too long, and people who are running at 80 and more, then when will you be old enough to run? They will never leave the space for you. You have to get the space. When you feel uncomfortable, you go. And that is what you have to do. If you plan to get power, position, opportunity on a platter of food, they won't give you. They will not give it to you, madam.
His Excellency Prince Abiodun. Your Excellency, in front of you this evening is the Royal African Young Leadership Forum, a brainchild of Kabiyesi, His Imperial Majesty, the Ooni of Ife.
This Kabiyesi's initiative, besides being a very loud document, because Kabiyesi has not restricted his thinking of nurturing, mentoring of young men to just Nigeria, but to the entire continent of Africa. So again, I want to thank Kabiyesi for doing this. I'm doing this quietly because I didn't know about it. I will be happy to continue to collaborate with you using my office and the platform that I currently stand on as the governor of Ogun State.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The past awardee of this forum, Barrister Habib White, would like to present a book to you.
Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you.
I want to welcome you all to Kingdom of Ife. It all started from here. I feel on top of the world today. I feel so fulfilled that indeed the dream is becoming a reality.
Ọmọ Yorùbá lèmi o.